to just do it on my phone?
While we're driving?
Since I have
Dude, we can't do it while we're driving. I mean, you can give me head while we're driving if you want, but I mean, there are limits to that.
No, there's really not. I have insurance now.
Well, I mean, I don't like having limits with you. So. Of course, I'm not trying to have you give me head while driving on camera.
No, I meant recording from my phone since I have the magnetic mount.
I've actually been thinking about using my. I have a YouTube channel already. I have a Ustream account and a couple other streaming services. We can totally
I do too.
Just broadcast while we're driving. But
I have Twitch.
I haven't signed up for them yet. I probably ought to before somebody steals my fucking name.
It's probably already stolen its Twitch.
I've only found one place where somebody is using my name, and it's
So do you want me to pick today's topic?
It's not even that there's a topic. It's just we can talk about that. It's a bed frame I want to build. Sturdy. I want to be great like Elvis without the tassels high.
Please, baby,
like
please.
beat up assholes.
So mean.
Hey, I want to be a country star.
Okay.
Every you talk about that, the wrong words.
Wrong.
That's people use that all the fucking time. That's why I have actually, if you look at my phone, there's definitions pasted everywhere in the thing. Like respect. I hate that people don't use the word respect properly.
I use it properly. I don't know what other people's problems are. That's like Zach, dude. I love my kid to death, but he uses the word contradict, and he uses it incorrectly.
In a contradictory manner to its definition?
Yeah. He's like, can't you just let me clean this, Mom? Why do you always have to contradict everything I do? Like, Zach, that's not exactly how that word is meant to be used.
I'm not even sure. He's using a word that doesn't even belong with C there, I think.
Exactly.
I mean, countermand, maybe? Micromanage? Can you tell him to stop doing shit a lot? I mean, probably.
It's Zach, of course I do.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Zach, I
love him. He's my kid. And I've tried to teach him. I've tried to educate him. I've tried to give him a gigantic fucking vocabulary. When he was little.
Yeah, whoa. He totally works with that.
When he was little, here's the thing. When he was little, and I would catch him using words, and he didn't know what they meant, I would sit him down with a Webster's dictionary, make him write the word 5 times, make him use it in a sentence 5 times, and make him write the definition 5 times before he was ever allowed to use it again. So now, when somebody looks at him and goes, "Oh, you fucking faggot," he's like, "I am not a bundle of sticks and twigs."
Right, he got the humor side of it, how to troll. He did not apparently get the, intellectual side of it, like how to use words to express my feelings.
I tried to teach him. I tried.
I've taught all of my kids how to read early on, and it turns out.
I did too.
Well, I know. It turns out that sets them ahead of a lot of kids, because apparently teaching your children isn't a thing. That's what we got schools for, right? The ones that we vote down every levy that they try to pass for more funding for fucking schools.
Okay. No child left behind.
Was it Daniel?
Stupid kids.
Daniel Tosh. Like, how do you get more funding for the schools for sex ed? Wait, because California was talking about they passed a fucking levy, and he's like, wait, we got to talk to our kids? Screw you. Teach that in school.
But yeah, he definitely uses words out of context, and he looks at me when I call him on it, and he's like, But doesn't it mean, and I said, yeah, that's what it means. However, that is not the proper context to use it.
This is not the application for that particular function. That's not it. I catch myself doing that a lot sometimes.
So
like I'll try and get stairwell, and what'll come out of my mouth is non-functional elevator or escalator. There's times where
I've done that before. I think we've all done that before. But this kid just, 18, I know it all, and I'm smarter than mom, and blah, blah, blah.
I'm an asshole. All of my my two kids, my two older kids, have already moved out of the house. They were out at 18. That's the whole job as a parent, is to get them ready to survive in the outside world.
And that is why, when he decided, I'm going to quit school, I told him to get a job.
It is not my job.
When he decided to quit his job, and then wants to come at me sideways like, I need food, Mom, I'm hungry. Nope, you had a job. What happened to your job? Why'd you quit your job? Because you wouldn't take me to work. Not my fucking job to take you to work. You are 18 years old.
Right.
There are
my job
Coda
to
buses.
take me to work.
There are Coda buses, and you have a bicycle. Use the two. Utilize your resources. I am not your resource. You are 18.
Well, the problem is you're a resource he's trying to rely on too heavily.
Right. I popped that tit out his mouth at 4 months. He was teething on it. Fuck you. I'm done. I'm not your smorgasbord. Rely on yourself.
Tristan knows that he can call me for assistance with some stuff. Like, they had fleas. And I had just managed to get rid of them because I have 2 dogs and a cat. And they're mostly outdoor, indoor animals. So they get fleas.
Right.
Checking for ticks and all that stuff. But he developed a flea problem because they got out of management. So he knows he can call me for things like, some 7 dust if I have it, or some bug killer. But I'm broke as shit. You can't call me for anything monetary. You can't call me up and go, hey, you got $10 I can use to put food in my fridge? Oh, I love you, but I ain't got $10. You're lucky. You can come over and make a sandwich if you'd like. Not too many sandwiches, though. That bread's on a budget, too. Unfortunately, you've spoiled your child into thinking that he's special.
And
I'm sorry, you've done him a disadvantage.
I know I have.
He's a white American worker.
I wish.
And he's not even that.
Chico and I talk all the time about, if you could go back and change something, would you? Chico always says no, because he wouldn't want to change the memories. Me, I want to go back. There are things that, I want to remember, and things I want to do differently with Zach.
Right. Would I go back and change some things? Yeah, fuck you. I'd invest about $2,000 in fucking Apple right at the beginning. Alphabet.com. Let's fucking go with Google. Yeah, I would go back and change a couple things.
Yeah, there are several things I would change. And Chico's argument is, but if you go back and change those things, then we may never have met, and we wouldn't have gone through the things that we went through that made us become best friends.
I don't know. I'm kind of like Doctor Who on some things.
For me,
there's some things that are a fixed point in time.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about it. The people that come into your life are always going to somehow come into your life, no matter what you change in the timeline. But with Zach, I would love to go back, and I would love to change things with him. I would love to change who his father is.
Nah, that would change entirely who Zach is.
I would love to change who his father is, because the whole reason I ended up spoiling him
is to try and avoid him ending up like his father.
Not that. Not that so much. I felt, and I know this is irrational, but as a single mom, knowing that Robert is fucked up.
And a huge part of that's probably genetic.
A huge part of that is drugs and alcohol.
I've met him.
A lot of it, yes, is genetic, but the majority of it is drugs and alcohol.
That's just his coping mechanism for
And
drugs and alcohol are never...
I know. But he's addicted.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like me back in the day when I was fucking snorting coke and shit, and I just turned around and walked away from it one day. Like, fuck it, I'm done. I don't care anymore.
Aren't you supposed to make a phone call?
Not phone call, text.
Because we are at Broad. What used to be, holy shit, they built something over there. What used to be Greenbrier, and then was Woodland Meadows or some shit. No matter what they did to it, it was always fucking Boozy Alley.
Not did, do.
Okay.
Where do you eat? Want to meet. So, back to what I was saying. I would definitely change who his father is. Because even though this is an irrational statement, I know it's an irrational statement. It's an irrational feeling. The whole time Zach was growing up, I felt like I had to love him enough for two parents. And then, of course, there's the whole, as a parent, wanting your child to be better off than you are, wanting them to have the things that you never had.
It's difficult to try and give them an advantage over everyone else without making,
without spoiling them. Yeah. Exactly. And Zach's been through some rough shit, but for the most part, Zach has been sheltered.
The problem is you almost have to look like a dick when you give your kid a leg up. When you, like, if your kid knows how to read by 4 years old, you've given them a leg up.
Right.
They have an option.
Zach was writing his name by the time he was 3.
All discovered that they hide things like information and secrets in this squiggly writing on paper. And if you can read what's on that paper, it will tell you all sorts of shit. Bernard loves to read. But when you give them an advantage, you have to explain to them at the same time, kind of not sounding like a dick, but you have to sound like a dick, to explain to your child that you've given them an advantage that other kids don't possess.
Right.
That you have, and that's the avoiding spoiling is to make them appreciate the level of advantage they have.
Here's a prime example of that. And it was kind of a joke, and it was really funny at the time. I was a bartender, as you know, after, we split up and I moved to Louisiana because you threw me away.
Sand, bitch. I mean, such a topic, baby.
Anyway, so Zach is 6 years old. I'm bartending. My day shift bartender, because I bartended nights, my day shift bartender babysat for me for quite a while. So I would take him in, and you know me, I'm always early for work, and that's another topic we're going to discuss in a minute. But, you know me, I'm always early for work. So I would get there early, I would have Zach with me, and it was during the day, and even though kids aren't really allowed in bars, he was 6, obviously not drinking. Like, I would buy him a soda.
Well, much.
And
a little shot of whiskey.
I would buy him a soda, and we would play darts until my day shift bartender got off work and I clocked in. And Zach looked at me one day because I would stand him on a bar stool, proper distance from the dartboard and everything, and we would take turns throwing the darts. And all my regulars would be in, and they all started laughing because Zach said, "Mommy, why don't you ever let me win?" This is from a 6-year-old. And I said, because, buddy, life is hard, and I would rather you learn that from me than the outside world.
I have never let Kai, Tristan, or Bernard win. Ever.
I've never let Zach win.
Playing Magic the Gathering, the look of joy, the look of ecstasy on Kai's face when he actually beat me in Magic that first time.
Yeah, I remember that.
The look on his face of, holy shit, I got him.
Do you remember how angry they used to get at us?
Yeah. But you don't...
5137 East Main Street.
Yeah, gotcha.
But you remember how angry they used to get at us when we would beat them? It was like the look on Parker's face when I beat him at Magic. Because I had an untouchable deck.
Oh, do you remember his fucking... What was the one that had the immortal token? It brought out, like, Kalis or some shit like that.
I don't know, but I whooped the shit out of him.
Shaggy was playing one of my decks, and beat Parker's unbeatable deck.
Parker didn't have an unbeatable deck. I had an unbeatable deck.
If you got this one token creature out, it was indestructible. It had ridiculous power. It was like a 7/7 indestructible with fucking the ability that lets him not be blocked. It's unblockable, unkillable. And Shaggy saw him playing out the series of cards that would have let him get away with that, and countered the best one. Just the crux of it all, the one that said, when you play this, this all happens. Shaggy countered that. Parker scrambled to pull together the mana to cast another fucking counter spell, and Shaggy smiled and tapped 2 more blue and went, I've been waiting for this. And it was from that moment on, his entire strategy went completely to shit because that was his secret weapon. And that's a thing I've tried to teach the kids to avoid when they're building decks, is don't make everything revolve around one particular combination.
No, I never did. I mean, my Heaven and Hell deck was unfucking touchable.
Parker thought Type 1 tournaments meant you couldn't have any more than one type of a card. Yeah, like you could only have one counter spell and only have one mind twist. You know, like,
I remember that too.
Right.
So, back to the point. Like,
you don't let your kids win.
No.
Because when they win on their own, it's so much better. Plus,
there's more pride in it. Like, they're like, wow. I play chess with Zach, and he gets pissed because I've taught him how to play chess, and he cannot beat me.
Yeah, I don't go through knowing all the particular moves and routes, but Tristan's actually really good at chess.
I've tried to teach. Zach was in chess club for a long time, and he was the best in the club because I taught him. But I won't let him win at anything. And now that he's decided, I don't have to work, I don't have to go to school, I'm 18, I can just fuck off on the computer all day or on mom's Xbox all day, I straight up told him, be the house bitch or get a job.
I'm waiting. After you move out, because, you're not taking him with you.
No, he's not coming with me. And Chico and I have already discussed this.
One day Chico's going to come downstairs and be like, hey, Jewel, you got some money? No? Well, you can't stay here, man.
Chico lets me stay there for free because...
It's not even free. He uses
I let him use my car. I take him places he needs to go when I'm not at work. But Chico and I have been friends for 20 plus years.
Right, that's my dude.
That's my people. Chico and I have been through a life and death situation together. Quite literally. We almost died that night. That changes a friendship.
A bit.
And Zach, being raised by me, knowing that you and Chico and Joe and Jay,
it's a thing that a lot of people with connections don't understand.
And Rusty are my people, and Zach's like, they're inherently mine. Right. I inherited them.
That's the thing. A lot of kids,
you have to get your own people.
That people with connections, their kids rarely understand that. That's your daddy's connection. Your daddy's got a connection with that person because, time.
History.
What the fuck are you doing?
You would think it's fucking Black Friday.
What the fuck is that shit? Man, this is why I want to have a dash cam pointed out the front of the fucking car I'm in.
But, yeah, he's like, oh no, I inherited your friends. And Chico and I both explained to him, it does not work that way.
No, it doesn't work that way.
You have to go. I had to go out and create my family because I never had a family.
I have one, but it didn't. And mine's unacceptable.
So I created my family with you, Tabby, Joe, Rusty, Jay, Chico. I created my family. And we have all bonded. We've had our fights and our troubles, sure. What family doesn't? You know? But they're mine. They are my people.
And that's
Period.
a lot of
Not
people
Zach's.
don't get that. Zach is your kid, and that gives him a little bit of pull with everybody. But examples of what Zach can do. Zach can call and see if I'll get a hold of you to ask you a question. Because honestly, Zach knows that I can you'll answer for me.
Yeah.
You're not, even if you're not for anybody else. So I can understand him trying that. But like, if Zach called me to ask where I could get a bag, I would have to look at that phone in incredulity. What? Boy, I am not one of your people in that regard.
You better find somebody.
You look around your neighborhood. I'm sure you'll find somebody. Don't get shot. Love you. Don't get shot. You know, it's exactly that kind of thing. I mean, there's stuff he can totally call and ask me for.
There's a lot of stuff he can call and ask me for because he's my kid and because you cut his umbilical cord.
I helped raise him for a little while.
And you're the one that cut his umbilical cord.
And I'm the one who gave him that.
And you're the one that named him.
Right, I gave him that stupid X at the beginning of his name. That everybody now is going to misspell his name for his entire life. Sorry. I know. That's because... Did you show him the tray?
No. Not yet. But...
How old is that tray? Older than some of our kids. Well, no, older than all of the kids. Because I've had that thing...
Yeah.
Jesus. It's rapidly closing in on being one of my oldest possessions. I'm going to side for you, baby. Don't hit the driver. Well, I mean, I suppose it's that you're trying to deny that you're not, that I don't. I mean, there is that.
So we're going to backtrack some.
A little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Because there was something I brought up and made it a point to say we're going to talk about this. Motherfucking work ethic, bitches. Motherfucking work ethic.
Having some?
My grandmother, here's what my grandmother used to tell me when I was a little kid. And I love my grandmother with all my heart. Rest her. She looked at me when I was about 10. And the reason I say 10 is because I've always had a hustle. When we would come up to Ohio from Florida for the winter, I would shovel snow. When we would come up during the summer, I was mowing everybody's grass in the fucking neighborhood. And I was making fucking bank. I was 10 years old. I wish I could go back and save all that money. But I had to buy all my own shit. I had to buy all my own clothes. I had to buy all my own food. I had to buy all my own school supplies. So I didn't get to save that money.
Yeah, some families suck.
So my grandmother, though, looked at me and she said, April, she said, there is something that I want you to know and I want you to carry with you throughout your entire life, no matter what other lessons you may learn and forget. And I said, what is it, Grandma? I'm 10 years old. She said, when you start a job, if you are early, you're on time. If you are on time, you're late. If you're late, you no longer have a job. Hello.
It's in the words of my grandfather.
I'm going to talk to you anyway.
You shouldn't make time for bitches. You've got to keep your mind on your motherfucking riches.
That is not your grandfather. That is Tupac.
Okay, so it's Tupac. I paraphrased.
God. Anyway, but that's what my grandmother told me, and that has always stuck with me. So I have always and forever been at least a half hour early for my shift, no matter where I work.
I used to. I slid away from that a little bit with Apollos.
I will stay at work past my shift if I need to.
5,000 block.
I will work on my days off. Yeah, 5137. I will work on my days off. My grandmother's statement effectively made me a workaholic. Yesterday, because I couldn't work, because of technical issues, I felt like a fucking slacker.
Yeah, I don't like being at work and not work.
My days off, I had to learn how to enjoy my days off because I felt like I should be at work. And that's, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I work from home. So when you work from home, it takes a whole lot of self-discipline. Like, oh my God. Because you can't have any background noise. You can't just get up and run around and go cook dinner or go watch TV or dance to some fucking music that's playing in your fucking head. You have to stay focused. It's no different than getting in your car, driving a half hour to some fucking building, walking in the building with a key card, and clocking in for work. It's no fucking different. And you can't treat it as it is.
5153?
37. 5137. And that brings me to another topic. For those of you that do work from home, fucking don't call out of work because you got a motherfucking headache. Bitch, suck it up.
As bad as me. She's like me, but with a vagina.
Fucking, these people kill me because I work in a call center environment. I take incoming troubleshooting calls for technical hardware issues.
5135?
5137.
Well, then they work at the subway. Or they're at the subway. I'm gonna pull up right here.
So if you wouldn't go to, say you work at Chase Bank, not necessarily the actual bank, but say you work in the call center for Chase Bank. If you drive all the way there, which is in Westerville, by the way, you drive all the way there, you